The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up on the show today, we will hear from Doug Chapin. He is the esteemed sports editor for The Vindicator as well as the Tribune Chronicle. He comes on board at 1 p.m. The manager, the head coach of the YSU baseball program, Dan Bertolini, will be calling in at 1:20. The weather is starting to cool off considerably as, once again, the Penguins are doing their fall practice as they practice all the way through Halloween, October the 31st, and then they'll shut it down baseball-wise and get back ready to go again after the first of the year. Lots of stuff to talk about locally. The tournaments are, or at least the pairings, have been announced for volleyball as well as soccer. And I don't know if people have figured this one out or not, but they have combined the sectional, district, and regional. They're all combined. And if you happen to win your if you happen to win this this tournament, you'll go to state. As they've got sectional tournaments, district, and as it turns out, it'll be regional tournaments as well. And for example, in volleyball, Division I, there are 39 teams, 39 that are in play. And this is teams from the Akron area, the Cleveland area, the east side of Cleveland, Canton, Massillon, and obviously the programs in the Mahoning Valley as well. Same thing with Division II. Again, how many teams in Division II? 29 teams. No, 26 teams in Division II. There will be 23 teams in Division III and 26 teams in Division IV. Seems to me like what they're going to do is essentially crown a district champion, and your regional tournament's going to be a regional championship game, and then go into the Final Four. I kind of like this. I kind of like the fact that they're stretching things out to have a lengthy tournament where they're going to kill one round. Essentially, instead of having a district champion with half of these teams or a quarter of those teams, they're just simply going to turn it into, okay, whoever wins this immediately goes to the Elite Eight. With a victory, you go to the Final Four. I kind of like that idea. It's the same thing, same concept in girls soccer. There are 34 teams in Division I. And there are 25 teams in Division II. Boys soccer, there are 37 teams in Division I. There are 29 teams in Division II. There's 20 teams in Division 3. So we'll get to the local pairings, but I got to ask, as a fan of a traditionalist, and the traditionalist is simply, okay, when the tournaments are going on, it's local teams in the sectionals, and I mean, you have a couple of teams that are in the outlying Mahoning Valley area that come into to our tournaments, sectional and district. And then once you're crowned a district champion, then you go to the regionals, and you have to win 2 regional games in order to go to the state. In this process, you're essentially taking 1 regional game out. The championship game in this format would be equivalent to a regional semifinal game. I kind of like it this way. I kind of like the idea of, okay, we're going to expand this, and we're going to have all of these games under one umbrella, and let's see what happens. I kind of like that idea. I kind of like the idea of, okay, home court advantage to the higher seed. I kind of like that idea as well. Now, when it comes to boys and girls basketball, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to stay with the format that they have had for years upon years, and that is, Division 4 teams in Columbiana and Mahoning County and the southern tier of Trumbull County would play at the Fieldhouse. Those in the mid to northern part of Trumbull County would go and play in the other sectional/district tournament, where all roads would go to the Canton Fieldhouse in the regional tournaments. Division 3 teams in Columbiana and Mahoning County would converge into Salem, along with a couple of teams in Stark County, a couple of outliers, Canton Central Catholic being one, that they would come over and participate in the D3 boys tournament in Salem. Those teams in Trumbull County, they would have their own tournament along with outlying teams in Portage and Ashtabula County, and they would be up at Harding. Division 2, everyone would converge at Boardman. Division 1, being that we don't have a lot of Division 1 teams, I believe the last tournament was in Alliance. And I think Harding goes a different direction. I don't know what's going to happen this year. Maybe they're planning on doing the same thing as volleyball and soccer and flip this to where, okay, we're going to include one district tournament and just bunch everyone up together, and instead of having a 3 regional games in the Fieldhouse or the Canton Civic Center, we're just going to have 1 regional championship game. When you think about it, it saves money on the renting of the facilities. And again, in volleyball and soccer, if they're planning on going into this direction, okay, you now only have to rent that facility out for 1 game instead of 3 games, which spread out sometimes over 3 different nights or 2 nights, depending on whether you have a doubleheader in the regional semifinals. I just find it interesting what the OHSAA is doing, and I got to be honest, I kind of like this format. Now, obviously, let's see what happens with this. My one concern would be, okay, we'll use Division 1 volleyball as an example. Massillon Jackson is the number 1 seed. Nordonia is the 2 seed. Let's throw out some of these teams that are on the extreme eastern end of the Cleveland metro area. Mentor is in this tournament, if I'm not mistaken, and they are. Twinsburg is opening up against Mentor. Mentor's the 24 seed. All right, so let's say that one of our local teams has to play Mentor. Now, obviously, they being the 24 seed, they wouldn't have home court advantage, home field advantage, whatever the hell they call for volleyball. But let's say that one of those teams on the extreme eastern end of the Cleveland suburbs happens to be really good, and one of our teams has to go all the way up there for a tournament match. Okay, that kind of makes things a little different. Now, obviously, that's part of the issue of combining a couple of districts together. That's part of the issue where you might have a team that might have to take a hour and a half trip. Now on a school bus, it's probably closer to 2 hours. Then again, let's take a look at the Ohio High School Athletic Association state playoffs. Saturday night, or actually Friday night, let me give you a great example. Buckeye Central, who defeated Wellsville, is going to have to make a insanely large drive once again to Latonia. And again, it'll probably be close to 130, 135 miles because Buckeye Central is in the Bucyrus area, which is technically in the western part of this state, although they will say the central part. Okay. But it's certainly on the most outlying area for Division 7 Region 25. And Buckeye Central has to make this absurd trip on the bus for a second consecutive week. Well, unfortunately, that is part of the problem that you have when you try to put together a tournament that includes districts and regionals. It's kind of tough to have one team going 20, 25 minutes to a school that you're familiar with, and you wind up playing that team. It's quite another when you have to. It's quite another when you have to go an hour, maybe a little over an hour on a school bus, which isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. I'm just saying, but that's part of the trade-off of having this format. By and large, I like this format, but like I said, I'm certainly not a coach, and I don't know if I would like this format as a coach, knowing that there's a chance that my team could be traveling close to 2 hours on a bus one way to potentially play a tournament game. That I don't know how fair that is. That's even when you have a regional tournament, it's in a regionalized location for everyone to get there within an hour or so. Now, not that Latonia has done this very often. As a matter of fact, they've only gone to the Canton Fieldhouse once, and that was the 85-86 season. And back then, they didn't have the district tournaments at the Fieldhouse. They had sectional tournaments, and the districts were at the Fieldhouse, and then the regional tournaments were at the Fieldhouse. Only time that Latonia ever made a trip, basketball-wise, to the Canton Fieldhouse was the 85-86 season, and they were in the district semifinals. They played Columbiana. Why in God's name they put that game in the Fieldhouse? Again, it was an absurd rule then, but if you go to a regional tournament, you have 3 teams from other regions. Okay, you have 3 teams from other regions, and they're all within an hour or so of Canton, hence the regionalized location for these 4 district champions to meet in the regional tournament. One of the things that could be a stumbling block in this, as I mentioned, is the travel. Let's go to boys soccer. Hudson is the number 1 seeded team in boys soccer. All right, Hudson is located. It's a suburb of Akron. It's pretty close to Cleveland, pretty close to Akron. As a matter of fact, to give everyone an idea, if you're old enough to remember the Coliseum in Richfield, Hudson is 1 town over from Richfield. So it's near Akron, it's near Cleveland, it's right over by I-77 and 303. About a half hour away from Cleveland, and maybe a little under a half hour away from Akron. But Hudson is It's a pretty decent trip. It's about an hour, maybe a little over an hour on a school bus. That's a team that you would probably face in the regionals. You wouldn't face that team in the district tournaments. You certainly wouldn't face that team in the sectionals. But if you look at the boys soccer, you have Hudson as the 1 seed, Massillon Jackson as the 2, Akron Hoban is the 3, Solon is the 4, Twinsburg is the 5. Go all the way down the list, and you'll see that some of our local teams are going to be at 16 and 18. Fitch is 16, Boardman is 18. All right, so you look in the first round matchup. Boardman is going to be playing home to Akron North. Fitch is going to be playing home to Mayfield. If Fitch wins that game, they got to go to Eastlake. Eastlake is in the eastern suburbs of Cleveland. That's at least an hour. At least an hour, and on a school bus, it's going to be a little over an hour. Boardman has to go to Walsh Jesuit. Now, it's a little less time, but Walsh Jesuit would not be in our district. Walsh Jesuit's a team that you would probably face in the regionals. Eastlake is definitely a team that you would face in the regionals. I like the idea of mashing these things together. Unfortunately, and again, I don't know if the coaches are going to mind the travel. That is going to be the ultimate say in whether or not this continues. If you mind the travel, if you're kind of taken aback by traveling, depending on how good your team is, if you have to travel up to 2 hours one way on a bus, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with that. Now, clearly the argument to that is, well, win some freaking games, get a higher seed, and you'll have home field for most of the tournament. Okay, I get that. But, I like the idea of mashing a couple of districts together, but the one thing that might preclude this from going any further than this year, and it's an experiment this year, and it's all based on COVID, and 2020 can leave any time now because COVID's just stop. This whole year has been messed up. But if this is an experiment that coaches don't mind going on the road a little further than what they would normally do for sectionals and districts, okay. I will say this. Again, if you're a really good team, this is essentially taking one round of the regionals off the boards. So when you go to the regionals, it's going to be one regional championship game. The other region would be those in the Cleveland metropolitan area and maybe a little bit west, and you go from there because ultimately your 4 state semifinalists are going to be the Cincinnati area, the southwestern part of the state, the Columbus area, the south central part of the state, the Toledo area, the northwestern part of the state, and the Cleveland area, the northeastern part of the state. And Youngstown is encompassing in the Cleveland area. That's also the Akron and Canton. That's part of the Cleveland area. In a perfect world, that's where they get the Final Four. Now, sometimes there are some teams that are in the northwestern region, but they're not a northwestern school. They're closer to Cleveland, but because you want to even things out, you do things like that. And there's another scenario, and we're seeing it play out right now with Massillon. Massillon is probably northeastern Ohio, but because everyone wants the same amount of teams in each region in all sports, Massillon, because they're south of 224, they are the team that got bounced to the Columbus region in football this year. Boardman could have very easily been bounced to the Columbus region, but because Massillon is a tiny bit further south than Boardman is, they're the team that got bounced down to the Columbus region. And that's, every so often you'll see Boardman go down into the Columbus region. That's the reason why, when they want to try to even things up and Boardman sometimes gets to be the team that is southernmost to the state capital, albeit barely. But in this scenario, Massillon was barely more southern, for lack of a better phrase, than Boardman was, because Massillon is just south of 224, where Boardman is on 224. So that's the reason why Massillon gets the Duke. And by the way, Boardman is south of 224 technically, Glenwood Boulevard. If you go to the high school, it's probably a quarter of a mile, a half a mile south of 224, where Massillon is probably a mile or so. But 6 one, half dozen of the other. I guess the bottom line in all of this is we will find out if the coaches like this. If they do, expect this to continue. I don't know if they're going to do this for basketball. I kind of doubt that they do, because I'm pretty sure everyone loves the format, the current format in basketball. Now, I have said this for years, and this goes back to when I was with iHeart doing sports rap. I detest the basketball format in where it is right now. There was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, where the one centralized location of the Division 1, 2, 3, and 4, or if you want to go further back in time, AAA, AA, and Class A, you had one site, and that site hosted all of the games, not just the district semifinals and the district championship game. That site hosted every single tournament game, sectionals to the sectional title game, to the district semifinals, to the district championship game. Now, in the 70s and all the way up to, I believe, the 86, 87 basketball school year, the D4 tournaments, which was then Class A, they would have the sectional tournaments at the field house, and then they would, for whatever reason, which is absurd, they would have the district semifinals and the district championship game at the Canton field house, and then whoever won that district championship would stay in the field house and play the regional semifinals, and if they survived that, they'd play the regional championship game, and then whoever wins that game goes to Columbus. For whatever reason, they thought that made sense, which is absolutely asinine. It made no sense. And thankfully, they realized how stupid that was. So they put the district semifinals and championship game at the field house, where it should have been for years and years and years and years. Unfortunately, idiots ran the gauntlet back then. Look, and I say that lovingly. It's just you got to be a moron to think that the district semifinals and championship game from the Struthers tournament belonged in the Canton Fieldhouse. That's just absurd. Nowadays, you have the sectional tournaments and the sectional title games at the home of the higher seed. I mean, it's okay, but that's you're essentially denying fans that love watching basketball an opportunity to see a lot of games. And I understand it's all about money. I get it. It's all about the Benjamins with everything in athletics. It is all about the Benjamins, and it's not just the pros. Sadly, it's infiltrated all the way down into high school, and it's sad, but it's true. The OHSAA wanted to save some money and wanted to make more money, and by doing so, they thought, and rightfully so, because they have made more money, you play sectional tournaments at the home of the higher seed, and you give that team a home game, and they keep a little bit of money, not much. The rest of it goes to the OHSAA. It's a win-win proposition, whereas in previous years, you had a doubleheader, and you charged for one game. Okay, it makes sense, because you're making more money this way. It makes sense. I get it. It's not good. It's hurting your product long term, especially when you're not able to see the tournament top seed unless you just take the time to go see them in the sectional title game. But if you see that game, then you're not going to be seeing 3 or 4 other games because they all start at the same time on the same day. And that kind of makes things a little tough to see. And selfishly, in the media, it makes our job that much tougher. When I talk with Doug Chapin at 1 o'clock, Doug will be the first to sit back and say how difficult that's been in the last few years. Because, obviously, if you have the tournaments in one place, in one neutral location, and you have doubleheaders in the sectional tournaments for a couple of nights, and then you have doubleheaders, sectional championship games, and then go into the districts where you may do a doubleheader for the district semifinals, or you may have a one district semifinal game one night, one district semifinal game the next night, and then a couple of nights later, everyone gets together for the district championship game, cut the nets down, yada, yada, yada. It makes a lot more sense for the fan base, and it makes a lot more sense for those that are covering this great sport, or sports, if you will, to have one centralized location. Now, the reason why they're not doing it, money. Again, it's all about the Benjamins, and unfortunately, as I said, that has infiltrated, and it's been a while, but it has infiltrated from the pros to college and now down to high school athletics. It is what it is, and it ain't changing anytime soon. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll let everyone know the local teams, where they are going to be and where they're seated in volleyball as well as boys and girls soccer. Keep it here. We'll take your phone calls. Coming up at 1 o'clock, Doug Chapin from the Tribune Chronicle as well as the Vindicator. We'll get you set for a Sweet 16 matchup. And again, we don't have a Division I program around these parts, so D1 is in the Elite Eight in their region. They're a week ahead of D2 through D7, and they will finish a week ahead of D2 through D7. We will preview some of the games on Friday, and again, keep in mind 3, 4, and 5, D3, D4, and D5 will be played on Saturday night. D2, D6, and D7 will be played on Friday night, and we will update everyone and tell everyone what's going on. Also, the latest AP poll is out. Not that it matters, but I will tell you there is an absolutely loaded region that we should probably continue to talk about, and we will. That's all coming up in a bit. Stick around. More to come on this Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters
A new Wilmington arrest.
GM Lordstown.
telling more local stories
We'll look at
Baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley
afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-2323 3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. All right, let's get to the tournament pairings. We'll go in volleyball first. Division 1, Austintown Fitch has the 4 seed. They're certainly a threat to win this thing, although there's some pretty good volleyball teams and pretty good programs that they'll have to contend with. But Fitch is the 4 seed. Canfield is the 6 seed. Boardman checks in at the 15 seed. The Howland Tigers are the 10 seed. We skipped over them. My apologies. Howland is the 10 seed. And then finally, Warren Harding. The Harding girls are the 37th seed. There are 38 teams in this tournament. Warren Harding will begin their tournament on the road as they take on Marietta. Marietta is the 13 seed in the D1 volleyball district/regional event. Let's see. Boardman is going to be home in the first round. Boardman, as we mentioned, the 15 seed. They will take on the 20 seed Aurora. Meanwhile, Howland is the 10 seed. They're home in the first round. They will take on North Canton Hoover. North Canton Hoover is the 22nd seed. Boardman and Howland both in action next Tuesday, October the 20th. Harding is in action 1 week from tomorrow, next Wednesday, October the 21st. Austintown Fitch got a bye. So did Canfield, by the way. Fitch is going to play the winner of the Stowe-Ellett game. Stowe is going to be Stowe Monroe Falls is going to be playing Akron-Ellett. Akron-Ellett is the 29 seed. Stowe Monroe Falls is the 30 seed. Those two teams match up on October the 20th. Fitch plays the winner of that game on Thursday, October the 22nd. That game would be played in Austintown. Meanwhile, on Saturday afternoon, the Canfield Cardinals will be playing a second-round game. They will play the winner of East Lake and Lake. East Lake North and Uniontown Lake. East Lake North is seated, where are they? East Lake North is seated 25th, and Uniontown Lake is seated 23rd. The winner of that game goes to Canfield on Saturday, October the 24th. As for the other teams involved, Howland is playing, as we mentioned, Howland is scheduled with a match of North Canton Hoover. If Howland wins that game, and they're favored to win because they have the home game, they're the higher seed. If they win that game, they would go to Maslin Perry to take on the number 8 seed, Maslin Perry. Winnable game. Howland is seeded number 10 after all. Boardman. Boardman is playing Aurora in the first round. Should they get past Aurora, they would play the winner of Madison and Lakeside. Madison and Ashtabula Lakeside. Ashtabula Lakeside is the home team. They are the number 11 seed in this tournament. Madison is the number. They are the number 24 Where are we? Number 26 seed. And again, Boardman came into this at the 15 seed. If Ashtabula Lakeside wins, Boardman would go to Ashtabula. If Madison were to pull off the upset, Boardman would be home for that second round game. Harding, if they were to knock off Marietta, and again, Harding's girls are ranked number 37 in this 38-team tournament. Marietta is seeded number 13. If Harding were to upset Marietta, they would play, they would play Walsh Jesuits. Walsh Jesuits is seeded number 14 in this tournament. So that's the local teams doing their thing. Let's go to Division 2. Division 2 tournament. Lakeview is the top seed. Girard has the 4. This is, by the way, a 26-team tournament. Lakeview is the top seed. Girard has the 4 seed. West Branch has the 7. Salem is the 13. Hubbard has the 14. Poland has the 17. Niles has the 20. Youngstown East the 21. Struthers the 22. And Cheney the 26th. East will be at Jefferson. Struthers will be at Ashtabula Edgewood. Salem will host Ravenna. West Branch will host Cheney in a very rare local matchup. These games will take place 1 week from today, Tuesday, October the 20th. On Wednesday, Niles will travel to Geneva, and Poland will take on Girard at Girard, another local matchup. That is on Wednesday, October the 21st. Lakeview will get their first action on Thursday, October the 22nd. They get the winner of Field and Southeast. Again, Lakewood is the top seed in this tournament. Struthers, if they get past Edgewood, and they go to Ashtabula Edgewood, if they get past Edgewood, they would take on the winner of Youngstown East at Jefferson. And if East were to upset Jefferson, Struthers would have a home game. If Jefferson upends East, Jefferson will have a home game. The winner of Ravenna and Salem will be taking on Lake Catholic. Lake Catholic is the 5 seed in this tournament. Those games are going to be on Thursday, October the 22nd. Also on Thursday, October the 22nd, the Cheney West Branch winner gets the winner of Canton South and Kinston. And if West Branch wins, they would have a home game, a home match on Thursday, October the 22nd. So there you go. Division 3, this is a 23-team field. Crestview is the 1 seed. South Range is the 5. United is the 6. Palestine is the 7. Ursuline is the 10. LeBray the 11. Liberty 12. Cardinal Mooney 16. Champion 20. Camel 22. Your local matchups, and the first round will start 1 week from today. Conneaut is at Liberty, Camel at South Range, and East Canton will play Crestview. I'm surprised that Crestview has decided to play. I'm a little surprised by that, but Crestview with the top seed, they decided they wanted to play and not get a bye. Normally, top-seeded teams get a bye, and there's no questions asked. I'm a little surprised by that. Those are the games on Tuesday, October the 20th. Wednesday, October the 21st, Champion visits Crestwood. Waterloo is at Ursuline. Mooney will go to LeBray, and that's that. The Conneaut Liberty winner will take on Cardinal up at Cardinal. The Camel South Range winner will travel to United. That could be a really interesting matchup. Again, United is the 6th seed in this tournament. One would think South Range has the better seed than United. One would think that South Range would get a home game. Instead, they're not. That's kind of weird. The East Canton Crestview winner takes on Andrews Osborne. Again, if Crestview wins that game, they're the top seed. They would get home field for the match, and that's on Thursday, October the 22nd. Saturday, October the 24th. The Crestwood champion winner goes to Kirtland. The Waterloo Ursuline winner goes to Rootstown. The Mooney LeBray winner will go to Palestine. And there you go. Division 4, 26-team tournament. Mineral Ridge is the top seed. Wellsville's the 2. Western Reserve the 3. Badger 4. Columbiana 5. Heartland Christian 6. Jackson Milton 7. Newton Falls 8. Maplewood 9. Matthews 11. Sebring 12. McDonald 13. Southern 14. Lordstown 15. Brookfield 16. Lowellville 17. Springfield 18, Chalker 19, Lisbon 20, Bristol 21, JFK 22, Bloomfield 23, Leetonia 24, and Valley Christian at 26. If you noticed, there's only 2 non-local teams, and local consisting of Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties. Chalker is at Springfield, Valley Christian at Heartland Christian, Wyndham at Jackson Milton, Kennedy at Lowellville, McDonald at Matthews, Southern traveling to Ashtabula, St. John. All of those games will be on Tuesday, October the 20th, next Tuesday. Next Wednesday, Bristol is at Maplewood, Brookfield at Lordstown, Leetonia at Columbiana, and Bloomfield at Newton Falls. On Thursday, the winner of Chalker and Springfield goes to Wellsville. The Wyndham-Jackson Milton winner will take on the winner of Valley and Heartland Christian. Whoever has the higher seed gets the home game. The winner of Kennedy and Lowellville will go to Mineral Ridge, and whoever wins the Southern Ashtabula St. John game will take on the winner of McDonald and Matthews at the home of the higher seed. And again, that game will be, or that match, I should say, will be on Thursday, October the 22nd. On Saturday, October the 24th, the winner of Bristol and Maplewood will take on Badger up at Badger High School. The winner of Brookfield and Lordstown will play Western Reserve at Berlin Center. The winner of Leetonia and Leetonia Columbiana winner will take on the winner of Sebring, will take on Sebring, I should say. If Columbiana wins, they would host the game. If Sebring wins, they would host Leetonia. Bloomfield Newton Falls winner will play Lisbon. Again, if Newton Falls wins that game, Lisbon goes to Newton Falls. If Bloomfield wins, Lisbon hosts Bloomfield. So there's your volleyball schedule. And again, most of the volleyball games will be starting 1 week from today. The tournament will get underway, and we'll definitely have Anthony all over that as far as coverage is concerned. Let's go to girls soccer Division 1. Again, 34 teams in this tournament. Local teams. The highest seed locally, we go to Howland. They are the 14 seed. Fitch is 16. Boardman is 19. We go further down the pecking order, and we see Harding at 33. As far as the local teams are concerned, 1 week from, or actually this coming Monday, 6 days from now, some local teams will be in action. Fitch will be hosting Massillon. Harding is going to be playing at Howland. That's an all-local matchup, which is very rare. And Boardman will be hosting Massillon Perry. The winner of the Fitch-Massillon game will take on Madison up at Madison. The winner of the Harding-Howland game will travel to Hudson. The winner of the Perry-Boardman game will go to Nordonia. And those soccer matches will take place on Thursday, October the 22nd. So again, our local teams, and there's 4 local teams in girls D1 soccer: Fitch, Harding, Howland, and Boardman. Their postseason begins on Monday. Fitch hosting Massillon, Harding and Howland playing each other at Howland, and Boardman hosting Massillon Perry. So all 4 teams in action on Monday, and they'll be back in action on Thursday, depending on who wins. And again, this is an elimination tournament. You lose a game, you're done. Division 2, 25 teams in this tournament. Canfield is the 2 seed. West Branch is the 4 seed. Lakeview is the 5. Salem is the 7. Cardinal Mooney is the 10. Poland is the 12. Niles 13. Hubbard 14. We go to Girard at 19, Struthers at 21, and that's it for the local teams. Monday, the tournament starts in earnest. Girard is at Hubbard. Jefferson will travel to Mooney. Struthers is at Alliance. Southeast is at Niles. And that's it for the games on Monday. Tuesday, the winner of Girard and Hubbard will be at Canfield. The winner of Jefferson and Mooney will visit Salem. The winner of Crestwood and Notre Dame Cathedral Latin will be at West Branch. The winner of Ravenna and Kenston gets Lakeview at Lakeview. Whoever wins the Struthers Alliance game will be at Streetsboro. The winner of Perry and Geneva takes on the winner of the Southeast Niles game. If Niles happens to win that game, I believe they would be home unless Geneva won. Those games would be on Thursday, October the 22nd. The Marlington Field winner will take on Poland, and that's it for our local teams. Division III girls soccer. What is it, a 25-team tournament? Springfield is the top seed. South Range is the 2. Ursuline is the 4. Champion 5. United 6. LeBray is 10. I'm sorry, Badger 9. LeBray 10. My apologies to Badger. Lordstown is 13. Columbiana 14. Crestview 15. Brookfield 16. Bristol is 17. Newton Falls is 20. Actually, this is a 24-team tournament. Maplewood 21. Kennedy 22. Valley Christian 23. Leetonia 24. All right, so the tournament begins on Monday, October the 19th. Crestview is at Columbiana. Now, that's interesting because that rivalry, well, it hasn't been a rivalry because they haven't played each other in any sports for a few years. And there's still some bitter feelings toward Crestview being thrown out of what is now known as the Eastern Ohio Athletic Conference. There is still some very angry people based on that decision of actually being bounced from the ITCL. That was back when both Crestview and South Range were unceremoniously dumped in both leagues, or both teams were dumped in the respective league. Crestview and rightfully so thought that there were some teams that made this decision possible, and they thought Columbiana was one of those teams, hence the reason why Crestview and Columbiana don't play each other very often. They're going to play each other because tournament will mandate that. Lordstown is at Pie Valley. Brookfield is at Waterloo. Valley Christian at Garfield. Kennedy is at Badger. Bristol will visit Grand Valley. Newton Falls is at LeBray. Let's see. On Tuesday, October the 22nd, the winner of Conneaut and Cardinal will travel to Springfield. The winner of Crestview and Columbiana gets United. The winner of Lordstown and Pie Valley gets Rootstown. Leetonia takes on the winner of Maplewood and Berkshire. The Brookfield Waterloo winner is at South Range. Kennedy Badger winner will take on the Valley Christian Garfield winner at the home of the higher seed. Bristol and Grand Valley winner is at Ursuline, and the Newton Falls LeBray winner will be at Champion. That is on Thursday, October the 22nd. All right, boys soccer. We'll turn it up a notch here, and then we'll get to the guests in hand at the top of the hour. Boys soccer Division I. This is a 37-team field. The highest seed locally belonging to the Fitch Falcons at number 16. Ouch. Boardman is number 18. Harding is number 30, and that's it. As far as D1 soccer goes, we only have 3 schools: Fitch, Boardman, and Harding. As far as the tournaments go, Wednesday, October the 21st, Fitch will be hosting Mayfield. Boardman will be hosting Akron North. Let's see, Warren Harding. I'm looking to see where Harding is going to be at Cuyahoga Falls on October the 21st. Okay, if Harding happens to beat Cuyahoga Falls, they would go to North Canton Hoover on Saturday, October the 24th. The winner of the Mayfield-Fitch game goes to East Lake North on Saturday, October 24th, and the winner of Akron North and Boardman will go to Walsh Jesuit on Saturday, October the 24th. D2, Howland is the 1 seed. Poland is the 3. Canfield is the 5. Lakeview is the 8. Louisville is the 9. We say hi to Louisville because they're part of the YSN family. West Branch is number 13. Hubbard is 16. Salem is 17. Girard is 23. Niles is 24. And that's a 29-team tournament. Soccer postseason gets underway next Tuesday. Ravenna is at Salem. Hubbard is at Lakeview. West Branch is at Southeast. Niles is at Marlington. Canton South is at Louisville. Conneaut is at Canfield. And Girard is at West Geauga. The winner of Ravenna and Salem have the unenviable task of taking on Howland. The West Branch Southeast winner gets the winner of Hubbard and Lakeview at the home of the higher seed. Let's see. The Canton South Louisville winner gets the winner of Niles and Marlington at the home of the higher seed. The Springfield Hawken winner will take on the Conneaut Canfield winner at the higher seed, and the Girard matchup with West Geauga, whoever wins that game will go to Poland. Those games will be on Saturday, October the 24th. All right, Division 3. Here's your 20-team field. Here are your seedings. Crestview is the top seed. Cardinal Mooney is the 2. Badgers the 3. South Range is the 4. Ursuline's the 5. Matthews is the 6. Columbiana 7, Maplewood 8, Grand Valley 9, Lordstown 10, Mineral Ridge 11, Champion 12, Heartland Christian 13, Brookfield 14, Camel 16, Palestine 17, LeBray 18, Bristol 19, JFK 20. The tournaments get underway 1 week from today. Bristol is at East Palestine. Grand Valley is at Brookfield. Camel is at Ashtabula St. John. And Mineral Ridge at Lordstown. On Saturday, the winner of Bristol and East Palestine will travel to Crestview. Kennedy is at South Range. Heartland Christian will travel to Badger. The Brookfield Grand Valley winner will take on Champion at the home of the higher seed. The Camel Ashtabula St. John winner will travel to Cardinal Mooney. LeBray is at Ursuline, Maplewood is at Matthews, and the Ridge Lordstown winner gets Columbiana at Columbiana. Those games will be played on Saturday, October the 24th. So it's a long list, and again, the tournaments, volleyball, soccer, it's all mashed together, killing one round of the regional tournaments where when you're done with this, if a team is a champion in this tournament, they'll play one regional game and then go on to the state semifinals, from what we're told. So they've mashed some things together. All right, we'll take a timeout. On the other end, we will catch up with Doug Chapin. Doug Chapin is both the Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle sports editor, and we certainly have a lot of stuff to talk about. And again, the tournaments all coming up Friday night. D2, D3, and D7. Twinsburg is at Fitch. Maple Heights will take on Harding. Boardman is at Paynesville Riverside. D3, Howland will take a trip to Chardon. Hubbard will take a trip to Geneva. Cheney will take a trip to New Philadelphia. Niles is at Streetsboro. Kenston is at Canfield. And in D7, Lowellville will take on JFK. That game would normally be played at Mollenkopf, but because Harding is home, they've kicked Kennedy to Liberty High School. Buckeye Central visits Leetonia, and Jackson Milton is at McDonald. Those are the D2, D3, and D7 games on Friday night. D4, D5, and D6 on Saturday nights. Girard will play Canal Fulton Northwest at Canal Fulton Northwest. Salem is at Poland, East Liverpool at West Branch. That's a rematch of an unbelievably good regular season game in Beloit. Villa Angeles St. Joe's will go to Stambaugh to take on Ursuline. D5, Cadiz Harrison Central High School will visit South Range. Cardinal Mooney is at Garrettsville Garfield, and Southeast visits Crestview. D7, Western Reserve is at Springfield. That's a rematch of a game earlier this year. Jeromesville Hillsdale will be at Pie Valley. LeBray is at Brookfield, and Mineral Ridge is at Creston Norwayne. We'll talk about those games, and we'll get Doug Chapin's opinion on the combination of a couple of districts in the volleyball and soccer. We'll get his opinion on that and more. That's all coming up in a bit. Stick around. Doug Chapin from the Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle coming up next. You're listening to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
To help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well-appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rue gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, as he does every Tuesday at this time, Vindicator and Tribune Chronicle sports editor, Doug Chapin. Doug, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful, thank you. Here we go into the field of 16 for the high school tournaments in football, and some surprises in week number one. Although, I mean, there was only two higher seeds or lower seeds, if you will, that pulled off some upsets. But we get into the second round, and there's some intriguing matchups. And we start on Friday night in Division II. Warren Harding is going to have their hands full potentially when they take on a pretty good Maple Heights team. And, you know, you look at the records, Maple Heights is 5-2, Harding is 3-3. It basically it gives everyone the respect factor of the area and the region respecting Harding to have the higher seed, hence home field advantage against the team with a better record in Maple Heights.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference this year with the coaches voting for the seeding rather than them being set up by the computer system, the Hardin system, because it's been in the past. That kind of thing figures in. When you use a computer system, it's just the facts. You beat this many teams, and they beat these many teams, and depending on your points accumulate depending on the size of the teams you beat, et cetera. Whereas when you have the coaches vote, those things that you're talking about are taken into consideration. Strength of schedule, even if you lose. That's one of the things about a computer system that it doesn't judge is if you play 3 tough teams and lose all of those games by 1 point, it counts the same as if you played 3 crappy teams or played those 3 tough teams and lost by 50. It doesn't take into account strength of schedule and margin of victory or defeat. So, yeah, that comes into play this year because of the coaches voting, and you see it all the time in basketball and other sports too. When the coaches vote for the seed, that the team they know who's good. Sometimes they have a better idea than the media as to which teams are better than others.
Doug Chapin joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. The other 2 games in Division II, Fitch is hosting Twinsburg. On paper, this should be, it should be an easy win for Fitch. Games aren't played on paper, but Fitch is a substantial favorite in that game. An intriguing matchup, and again, Boardman, forget about the 4-3 record. They get their quarterback back. He had missed most of this season in Treveri, and that allows the quarterback that was there to go back to his natural position of wide receiver, and now the skill position is improved dramatically across the board. They go to Painesville to take on Painesville Riverside. Certainly they'll have their hands full, but this is a different Boardman team, and I don't think you can judge this team based on a 4-3 record because now they're back at full strength, and we'll see if Coach Ignazio has a team that can pull off an upset in Painesville.
I think it's hard to judge any team in this situation with the no preseason and the 7 games played. So it's a different animal than it's been in past years. It's hard to say, and certainly an upset is possible there with Boardman. I think most of the matchups in this round of 16 appear on paper so far, and it goes all the way down through all the divisions, it seems. Of the 8 matchups in each division in our area, there are some, at least 5 or 6 that look like really entertaining, should be close games. And then there's, a couple that look like they probably will be blowouts, which makes me think, I wonder if the OHSAA will be looking at this, and if they get good matchups and close games in this round of 16, does that lead to an expansion of the playoffs where we end up going to a round of 16? And this will make it easier to do that.
Well, they are expected to, and I believe they said they were going to go to 12 next year, which would give the top 4 seeds a bye into the field of 8, which, okay, and that might work out. Now, there was also talk, depending on how this whole thing works out, and let me get your opinion on this, Doug Chapin. There's talk that the OHSAA is thinking about really changing things up and having the regular season at 8 games with a 7-week playoff format, and the playoff format would be similar to what we have here, where everyone would be invited in the tournament. If you choose to bow out, then you could play your 2 regular season games and be done with the season, and you would go to the field of 16 in week 1, 16 to 8 in week 2, and so on all the way to the state championship game. I on the surface, I kind of like the idea of 8 regular season games and every team in the state of Ohio being invited to the tournament. My fear is you'll have blowouts galore and mercy games galore all the way to the regional semifinals.
Well, if it works out like this year, and again, this would be the chance to see that, get a preview of that, and that's always the danger is the blowouts, early on. But we deal with that in basketball and baseball. I guess my opinion is I wouldn't be against that. 10-game regular season is, there's no magic number as to why it's at one point. I'm sure it was 8 or 9. Over the years, it's changed, and any change that is made in a situation like this, 5, 6, 7 years later, no one even remembers it was a change, or that they sort of remember back. Well, I remember when they did it this way or whatever. But we adjust to changes like that, and it would be something that eventually everybody would be fine with, or that they realize that okay, this is the way it is now. So, I guess I wouldn't have any problem with that. I like the idea of you don't have to be in the playoffs if you don't want to. That way, the teams that really understand or realize they don't have a chance, they don't get people hurt, etc. So, yeah, I guess I know that the expansion to 12. A lot of people don't like the bye, and a lot of coaches don't like that bye. So that the 16 would or more would take care of that. But we'll see. I guess to answer your question, I would not be against an 8-game regular season and then everybody in the playoffs, and the playoffs extended 2 weeks.
Let me ask you, and again, Doug Chapin, the Vindicator and Tribune Chronicle sports editor, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. We'll see the seeded teams or the teams that had a bye in week 1 of the playoffs. They're going to be playing for the first time in the postseason. Do you expect some of these teams, and we'll run down the list: Austintown Fitch, Warren Harding in D2. Let's go Canfield in D3, Kennedy, McDonald, Leetonia in D7, Poland and West Branch and Ursuline in D4, South Range and Garrettsville, Garfield and Crestview in D5, and Springfield and Brookfield in D6. Do you expect any of these teams to struggle, given that they had a week off, that there might be some there might be just flatness from these teams?
I suppose there could be, but I would say a week off at this time of the season is probably beneficial in from the injury standpoint, just the rest standpoint. and I would think any flatness or any rust would be, by the end of the first quarter, that'd be out of the system as, let's play. The other advantage I think they have is they got a chance to see their opponent in a situation where their opponent's going to do everything they can to win, which means, pull out the trick plays, and they'll their tendencies will be more definite as far as, this is the things they do when they want to win a game, because last week they were trying to win a game in the playoffs. So I think there's an advantage that way. We'll see about the question about flatness and or rust. I don't see it as being a problem. It only being 1 week off.
Doug, as we look at the rest of the schedule on Friday and Saturday, D3, D7 on Friday, Howland is at Chardon, Hubbard at Geneva, Cheney at New Philadelphia, Niles at Streetsboro, Kenston at Canfield, D7. Lowville will play Kennedy at Liberty High School, Buckeye Central at Leetonia, Jackson Milton at McDonald. Any potential surprises, or is there any games that you're looking forward to seeing as far as competitiveness goes?
I'm curious to see how Sandy does going out to New Philadelphia. They've got personnel that they seem like they could pull an upset here or there. Technically, their win over Coventry was an upset, but New Philadelphia will be a different story. But I think they've got a chance. Hubbard going up to Geneva is another one like that, where Hubbard's a 9 seed and Geneva's 8, so they're close anyway. And Ashtabula County football has never been known for its strength. Down here in the Mahoning Valley, it's generally considered better football programs than up there, so we'll see how that goes. Who else has a chance? The Salem-Poland game should be interesting. Poland's favored, and I think they would win, but that could end up being a close game. We've got a couple of rematches. East Liverpool, West Branch. West Branch beat them during the season. And LeBray Brookfield, that Saturday night. You didn't mention that yet, but that's another one that'll be interesting since they played during the regular season.
No, I'm looking forward to some of these Saturday night games. Salem at Poland's going to be fun. Liverpool at West Branch, as you mentioned, that could be a fun game. I'm circling the Mooney Garrettsville Garfield game. Pay no attention to that 2-5 record. Cardinal Mooney scheduled up, as they always do. They're going to be a force to deal with, and both teams love to play physical football, so these two teams will be knocking heads playing a really physical game. And I'll be honest with you, the team that should be smiling, assuming they take care of business, is Crestview, because Crestview gets the winner of Mooney and Garrettsville Garfield, and Crestview, they take care of business against Southeast, which hopefully they do. They're going to be hoping that Mooney and Garrettsville Garfield play this long, extended, each team beats the hell out of each other, so Crestview picks the dead carcass the next week and moves on into the regional semis.
Except they're with 3 passes being thrown during the game, the clock's going to be moved during the Mooney Garfield game, and it might be over by 8:30.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the things you like. If you know you're going to play a physical team, you like to see them play somebody else who's physical the previous week, so that like you said, there could be some bumps and bruises. I think, and every coach would say this, that nobody's looking ahead to the next round. They will, the kids will, and that kind of stuff. And if we win this one, we get to play this team, etc. Look at the Harding Finch. If they both win, they meet next week. And that's good. Sometimes that's difficult for coaches to restrain their kids in that. And you got to think about the opponent this week, and that's coach speak, and we always that's what the coaches always say. But it's true to some degree. You cannot be thinking about who you're going to play the following week until you've actually beaten the team you're playing this week.
Yeah, and that's where a championship mentality comes into play. And there's so many, and you try to explain to 15 to 18-year-old kids, and that's what they are. They're not men, they're kids. You try to explain to these kids you can't assume anything and look forward to playing a game. You have to be concentrating on the game at hand. Now, it's our job as members of the media to look forward and hype up a match that may well happen down the road, but we're guilty of looking forward. Hell, I got I got chastised by Coach Arnold and Warren Harding by saying, "Hey, this Fitch Harding game could be a lot of fun." And he looked at me and he said, "Who are we playing this week again, Ron?" And I said, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, and that's where where experience for the kids comes into play. A team that's been on a pretty good long run, like for example Springfield last year, those kids know they know this year that you cannot look ahead, and they're, because they went through it all last year, they've got that idea, and they understand, and they believe it. So, that's experience is always a factor, a positive factor, whether it's experience of losing a close game and you've got a motivation to come back the next year and play better, or the experience of, here's what we did last year to be successful, so that we've got to do that again this year. You can, especially with 15, 18-year-olds, that kind of that factor plays a big deal.
Hey, Doug, before we let you go, volleyball and soccer have expanded their tournaments, and now instead of a 13 or 14 team district, now we're looking at upwards of the mid-late 30s number of schools that are going to be participating in tournaments. What do you make of the expanded format of tournaments in volleyball and soccer?
Well, and the way I understand it is because of COVID, they're not going to have the games at a site. So in the past, they did it geographically, where they'd have in volleyball, they'd have one of the sectional districts at Alliance, I think, and then wherever they'd have them at various places throughout the Northeast Ohio, and the teams would go there to play. Soccer was similar. It was set up geographically, although the games were played at home fields or at neutral sites during the district. So what they've done is they opened it up to where in the past you could only face the 12 teams in your district, 12 to 16. Now, with all 30, or in some cases in the smaller divisions, there's like between 24 and 28 or so. They divided the Northeast District into an East section and a West. And so in the East, there will be, if there's 22 teams, they'll have two 11-team brackets. And the winners of those brackets still go to the regional. There's still the same number of teams going to the regional, except the brackets are not identified as, this is the Jefferson bracket, this is the Warren bracket, et cetera. They're just called 1, 2, 3, et cetera. So the way they did the seeding is they seed 1 through 36 or 1 through 24, however many teams are in the competition, and then you have 2 or 3 brackets to choose from where to place your name. In the past, they were able to do it. In the past few years, whatever the seeding is, it's predetermined who you play. One plays 16, 2 plays 15, et cetera, if it's a 16-team bracket. Now you can put yourself on wherever you want, and they could move to whichever bracket they wanted to, so that you've got. The one thing it does is there are a lot more early big travel games, because the Northeast District goes from, I think Beaver Locals in they're in the Eastern. It goes from Lisbon north to Ashtabula, and it goes all the way west to Lakewood, and so there is the possibility of much more travel because they got rid of the geographic aspect. But they did it this way, I believe, so that because of the COVID, they couldn't host at one place. They didn't want to host at one place, so they're adjusting it that way. My opinion is I've got no problem with it. Again, change is change. It happens. Everyone will get used to it. It opens up a lot of. I know in the past, in volleyball especially, Lakeview would go north and play in the district up there. And Lake Catholic and NDCL were really, really strong over the years. And even when Lakeview took really good teams up there, they didn't have a chance to get out of district. But now they can go wherever they want in the Northeast District and play whoever they want. So it's going to offer a little bit of variety. Teams are going to get to see schools that they've never seen before and play against them. In the end, you're still going to have the same number of regional participants. So, it's not going to change anything there. It'll just be a little bit more travel to some degree and a little bit more variety in who people play.
Hey, Doug, always a pleasure. We look forward to catching up with you next Tuesday, and we'll be in the traditional field of 8 in the football playoffs, and there'll be some more familiarity in this ridiculous COVID world we're living in.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to ask before we let you go. Browns are off to their first 4-1 start in 26 years. Is this team legit, or do you think there's still some issues within this team that we haven't seen yet?
Well, the biggest thing I've seen is Kevin Stefanski has not yet looked like he's got the deer in headlights look. In the past, whether it was Hugh Jackson or whether it was Freddie Kitchens or Romeo Cornell or whoever it was, there were times when the Browns head coaches just looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Didn't have a clue what to do in this situation, et cetera. So far, he's looked very good. He's got a plan. He follows it. And they've also shown the ability to do what it takes to win. This past week, Beckham, had 2 catches maybe, was not really a part of the offense. And I'm sure Indianapolis had something to do with that. But they still managed to score enough points to win. So I like that factor that, the secondary's having trouble, but they still did enough to win. They scored enough points to win. So I like that. They've got weaknesses, sure, but I think Browns fan wants to say, yeah, we're there. This is good because we've seen it all before. But I like the way they're headed.
Always a pleasure, Doug.
All right. Take care.
All righty. Doug Chapin, he is the sports editor of the Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle. This is by far and away the busiest time of the year because you got the football playoffs, you got volleyball, you've got golf, you got soccer, you got cross country. Yeah, this part of the season. That's when sports editors and people working in the media pull their hair out, hence the reason why, a little bit of neither here nor there. All right, 330-886-0813. Stick around. We will hear from the head coach, I hate that term, the manager of the YSU baseball program, Dan Bertolini, coming up in a bit. We will talk Penguins baseball with the skip, Dan Bertolini. That's all coming up after this timeout. Stick around.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before. But 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate, 330-259-0486, and take care of your heating and air situation.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Points on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. The YSU baseball team, well, we're in the off season, obviously, and the off season means fall practice, weightlifting, the whole 9 yards as we get ready for another Penguins baseball season, and hopefully, knock on wood, pray to the baseball god, small g, and the god, capital G, that we have a baseball season in full instead of the garbage that we had this past year. But anyway, to talk about the baseball and how everything is going in the early portion of the offseason, we bring in the manager of the YSU baseball team, Dan Bertolini. Skip, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Day off today, so it's a good day.
Outstanding. And the team is in the midst of fall break, so you guys are off. Fall break ends on Wednesday. I believe the kids are back in school, assuming they get everything straightened out with the teachers and the strike and whatnot on Thursday. So let's talk a little bit about the progress to this point, as you guys have been blessed with some pretty nice weather. You guys have been able to go out on the field, Eastwood Field, and you've been able to get an awful lot accomplished this offseason, Skip.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a fantastic week last week. We had our scout day on Wednesday. Great turnout. We had about 17, 18 professional MLB scouts there watching our guys, some cross-checkers, some good guys, and our players performed at a really high level. I thought it was a great day for our program, and a lot of interest from the professional ranks for some of our guys. So that's good news for them. And then we inter-squad scrimmage that day, as well as again on Friday, and kind of capped off the week. I thought it was a great scrimmage. I thought our offense performed at a really high level. I was happy to see that, and kind of takes us into this week where we have a couple days off, and then we'll start Wednesday, and our Fall World Series will start on Friday. So we'll play 3 straight weekends of our Fall World Series and crown a champion at the end of the postseason.
Are those games going to be open to the public, Skip?
Yeah, right now everything's open to the public. You gotta, there's a waiver that has to be signed at Eastwood Field, and we require social distancing and masks. But yeah, we've had people at our inter squads, and it's gone on without a hitch. Outstanding.
Obviously, you have an opportunity to speak with the scouts and to pick their brain on a number of things. And I'll peel a little bit behind the curtain, being that I have some years in minor league baseball, and I have a really good idea of how the system works. Those guys weren't just looking at the kids that are going to be graduating and eligible for the MLB draft next year. They're looking down the road as well. That's what a good scout does, and they're always trying to cultivate the land, even if it's 2-3 years down the road. Did you get a sense of anyone on your team that the scouts were particularly interested in, Skip?
Yeah, I think Colin Clark is a guy that's going to be he's been highly touted. He's had a lot of professional contacts. Even in last year, I think if there would have been a draft, he would have heard his name called. So I think he's a guy that's definitely garnered a lot of interest from a lot of major league scouts, and there'll be some guys out there every time he pitches in the off season. Some young guys really impressed. I thought Trey Law had a really good scout day as an underclassman. A guy that's not draft eligible. I thought Turner Draw did a really nice job. He's a COVID freshman as well. Those two guys were the standouts kind of from our younger guys that aren't draft eligible yet. But Phil Glasser had a great scout day. I thought he improved his draft stock a lot. He did He ran really well and did some great things in the inner squad. Jeff Whaler's another guy that I think is going to do a good job. That's got a chance to hear his name. Some of our younger guys, Don Bucko, but then our seniors, Blaze Glenn and Colin Floyd, and those guys will hopefully have a shot. It's just a weird year because there's a lot of older players in the draft. There's going to be a loaded MLB draft with all the guys that came back to school, all the draft eligible players that would have been drafted last year that went to junior colleges instead of getting drafted in the 7th round. They went to school. Even in the 5th round they went to school. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. But I'd say we have 7 or 8 guys that either this year or next year have a good chance to hear their name called and get what ultimately is the next step in baseball and playing at the professional level.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the fact that there are going to be 42 less teams, or 40, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 less teams in Major League Baseball, everyone's going to have now a low A, high A, double A, triple A, and that's going to be your minor league system. The spring training site will host the rest of the holdovers that aren't good enough to go to low A ball yet. From what I understand, there's going to be teams in the New York Penn League that had a short A program that are now going to be either College Wood Bat League or something in the vicinity. And more importantly, for the kids, the draft is going to be lowered by at least 10 rounds. It was 40 in previous years. It's now, from what I understand, minimum 30 and possibly even down to 20, which really, for lack of a better term, it screws the kids that were looking to be drafted late in the process. And there's a big difference between being drafted and being signed as a free agent, because you get a heck of a lot more money if you're drafted in terms of your bonus.
Yeah, it just depends too where you're drafted. Then there's a whole lot of strategy that gets involved, whether you're drafting guys that are 5th or 6th year seniors and saving money that way, because those guys tend to not get more than a couple $1,000 even if you're drafted. Free agent contracts can be up to $20,000 now, so that's the maximum contract, where they used to sign guys for $40,000 or $50,000 after the draft. So it's definitely changed, but everyone's kind of fighting it, and it's kind of unfair, I think, at this time. But I think just like anything, we'll adapt. Baseball has been around for a long time, and they'll adapt and adjust, and it might change the landscape. There might be more guys playing independent ball, because independent ball is now going to be affiliated with Major League Baseball, so the Can-Am League and the Frontier League, and those leagues are going to be associated with Major League Baseball, so that's going to be sort of like the short season type deal. It'll just look different, but I think at the same time, they're worried about the development of each of these players, and they want to make sure that everybody that's in their system gets an equal, fair opportunity to develop and aren't just jammed into a massive minor league system. So they're trying to make it better, better living conditions, better training conditions, everything for the minor leagues. So there's got to have to be some changes that are made.
Oh, no question about that, and obviously being in the tail end of where the previous format was, I had an opportunity to see some really disgusting stadiums that, frankly, they had no business playing in those stadiums, and two that came to mind. And they're both no longer in the Southern League. And actually, Huntsville has a new team and a brand new stadium. So, but the Joe Davis Stadium they played in Huntsville was just horrendous, and Hank Aaron Stadium in Mobile was worse. You have some nice stadiums, but unfortunately, some of those nice stadiums don't have the amenities that Major League Baseball is wanting. Hence the reason why the team that I spent 6 years broadcasting games for in Jackson, Tennessee, that team is on the chopping block because while the ballpark at Jackson is a very nice facility, the amenities in the clubhouse and whatnot, there are none. And unfortunately, Major League Baseball, and I'll blame baseball on this one, Major League Baseball did not give the minor league owners a specific list of what needed to be done in terms of taking care of their kids. So I blame Major League Baseball for that, but it gives them an excuse to get rid of some teams and in the process try to tighten things up, which, depending on how you look at it, I don't necessarily agree with it, and it certainly doesn't allow for feel-good stories, kids that were drafted very, very late that not only make it to the major leagues but ultimately go to the Hall of Fame. Mike Piazza is a great example of that. In today's format, I don't even know if Mike Piazza plays baseball now, and that's kind of a frightening thought.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate. Eastwood Field's a great place to play, and they've made some upgrades to their facilities to stay up with the current specifications of Major League Baseball. So we're really hoping that, for the Valley and for everyone, that they're able to get another Major League affiliated team to kind of slide in there, whether it's a full season team and a low A or a high A, to potentially get in there. But yeah, I mean, the current, right now, I think, the name is slipping me right now, but the guy that hit the home run in the American League Division Series against the Yankees, he was an undrafted free agent, or no,
Bruce Hard.
He went to Oakland, played in our conference, and made it up to the major league. So it's possible. Like my dad always said, the cream rises to the top. So if you can get in, you get an opportunity. Like the old poker, a chip in a chair. If you can get into the game, you can have an opportunity to play, and hopefully, whether it's independent or whatever it may be, if you're a good player, the scouts will find you. It just might be a little bit different of a path now, but I do think that at the end of the day, they want to win, so they're going to beat the bushes. They're going to find whoever they can to help their club win ball games, and just might not be in short season A.
And as we mentioned last week, the YSU does have a number of players that were not only drafted, but they wound up getting the opportunity to advance through the minor leagues, and some of them had an opportunity to have a pretty nice major league career. Skip, have you reached out to those players that played collegiately at YSU to possibly get them to maybe speak to the team or to have a relationship post MLB career with the college?
Yeah, we've had a lot of guys back. Our golf outing. We had Justin Thomas come back and speak at our first pitch breakfast a few years back, and I've talked with Phil Klein and Brad Hennessy, some of our recent guys. But we had our golf outing, and a bunch of those guys were back in town, and just really excited about the program and the direction that it's going, and proud to be, Youngstown State alums, and just, really spoke highly of their time at Youngstown State and all the benefits they got from being part of it, and how much the program's grown, and the facilities and everything that, even from 10, 12 years ago to now, how much growth has happened at Youngstown State. So, there's plenty of opportunity for you to play professional baseball if you come to YSU. Those guys are just living proof that that we have a great program, and you have an opportunity to go play at the highest level and make the major leagues.
Dan Bertolini, our guest, he is, and I'm not going to say head coach because that's not a head coach. He's manager of the Youngstown State University baseball team. He joins me every Tuesday at this time on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Dan, before we let you go, this off season, and this is something that's been going on for more than a few years, where weightlifting is now prevalent in baseball. There was a time, I was in my teens. In the late 70s and on into the early 80s, weightlifting was a no-no because you didn't want your body to be too tight because you would be subjected to oblique injuries. And for those that have never heard of or has not seen an oblique injury from a player, it's in the side And if a person has an oblique injury, you can pretty much knock them down for 4 to 6 weeks because that takes a lot of range of motion in terms of throwing, in terms of swinging. You can't twist your body, which you need to do for both throwing and batting. Why the stance now? All of a sudden, and it's been a while, but why the stance now in weight training, and is it really as important as the experts or so-called experts say? Because I'll look back at Hall of Fame baseball players in Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and that genre of players that didn't touch weights, that basically worked out by putting a tire on a tree and taking a bat and going to town with that tire and chopping wood and a couple of other things, but not touching weights.
Yeah, I mean, it 100% is beneficial and works. I mean, we did a lot of things differently 50, 60, 70 years ago than we do now, and not necessarily that what we were doing back then wasn't right, but it probably wasn't the best. Whether they could have been better. The players of this generation are probably better because of nutrition and weightlifting and, and strength and conditioning and understanding the body and understanding injuries. It's just a different game. But I do think, there's got to be a mix. I think functional strength is the most important. And we're very fortunate at YSU to have a great strength coach, Matt Summers. He does a fantastic job with our guys we really keep tabs on them, how their body feels, how they feel each and every day, whether to push them in the weight room or to kind of go a little easier if you need to. But, strength is especially in Major League Baseball where you're playing 162 games, strength of your body has got, you get guys that'll break down if you're not strong enough. And look at the best players in the game, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, even Francisco Lindor. Those guys are strong. And they lift during the season, and they lift heavy, and they prepare their bodies to perform at the highest level. And I remember even when I was a kid, people were afraid to lift weights, but we just know more about the human body, and we know more about I don't recommend bench pressing every single day, and that's not what our guys are doing. They have all kinds of core stability and they have to do tons of stretching and flex, and banding. They're doing all kinds of stuff to get their bodies to peak performance. And I think that's a huge part of why we've been successful. That's why the last couple of years we've hardly had any injuries. A lot of it's preventative injury stuff, not necessarily just we're not bodybuilders, but we want our guys to be strong. We don't have to be huge pecs and arms and we want to be chiseled. We want to be functionally strong to be able to move very quickly, and we have to do it, over and over because it's really a standstill to a full go. There's no in between most of the time. Whether it's a ground ball thrown across the infield, whether it's you're in the outfield trying to catch a fly ball, you're basically going from a standstill to a full sprint. When you're doing that for 136 pitches or 140 pitches, whatever happens in the game. You're going from at bat to basically standing still to swinging at a high level, and you're doing it. You might only get 5 swings a game, but we have to be prepared for that. So training for those specific movements is really important.
Yeah, you want to be strong, but you want to have your flexibility as well, because if you're strong but you're not flexible, then you've defeated the purpose.
Yeah, you want to be functionally strong. Whatever that, being able to bench press like 700 pounds doesn't necessarily translate to being able to throw a baseball efficiently or swing a bat efficiently. So we have to be a mix of all the different exercises and all the different body parts that we're going to use, throughout the course of the baseball season.
Hey, Dan, always a pleasure. I know the kids are off this week. Look forward to the quote World Series. Give me the details. I'll speak to you off the air, but give everyone the details as far as when that starts and the fans are going to be allowed at Eastwood. Give everyone details on that again.
Yeah, Game 1 will be Friday at 2:00. I believe it's Colin Clark versus Travis Perry is going to be Game 1. Game 2 will be Saturday, TBA. I don't have the time yet. We have to kind of check on the weather and some things before we make a decision. And that will most likely be Colin Floyd versus John Snyder. And then the following week it'll be Friday and Saturday, similar setup. And then the IF game will be October 30th. So that'll be the final day of our fall season.
Outstanding. And all of those games are going to be at Eastwood, which is a fabulous facility. And, you know, I've kidded President Tressel and Ron Strollo, when are we going to see an on-campus baseball field? And they kind of look at me and go, you've got a couple $1 million you want to give us? And, of course, they don't realize us radio people don't make that stuff. But it would be nice down the road. And obviously it's a few years down the road, but it would be nice to have a baseball facility on campus. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we want to equip our guys with the best facility possible. We're fortunate to have Eastwood, and you know, that kind of stuff's pretty much outside my control. I go every day and go to work and prepare our guys to be successful. And right now it's at Eastwood Field. If we decided to build a field on campus, you wouldn't hear any complaints coming from me. But we're fortunate to have that facility, and they take good care of us. Kyle Nagy does a great job getting that field ready for us every day. So we'll look forward to finishing this fall out strong and getting ready to go. Hey, Dan, always a pleasure. We'll catch up next week, brother. All right, sounds great. You got it. Dan Bertolini, he is the manager. He's in charge of the Youngstown State University baseball program. Again, they're quote-unquote World Series. I love this. It's a best-of-5 series. It will start on Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock over at Eastwood, and it should be an awful lot of fun. It'll be, they're dividing the teams up, and we get the scrimmages, best-of-5, and go from there. All right, 330-886-0813. That is the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. We're back in a bit. Stick around. More to come.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
Boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken
around our
Good
valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
Become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. Hello. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up tomorrow on the show, Brian Driscoll will check in. We'll have our weekly chat with our Notre Dame guru, Brian Driscoll. Notre Dame, a little flat this past Saturday, but they got the job done as they took care of business on Saturday night against Florida State University. Notre Dame is in the top 10, obviously, and we will see what Notre Dame does this week as the Fighting Irish will be taking on Louisville, and that is a 2:30 game. Notre Dame is number 5 in the nation. They're a 17-point favorite against Louisville. We'll see what happens there. Brian Driscoll will be joining us. And again, you can check out his work. Go to irishbreakdown.com, irishbreakdown.com. My Letonia education knows no boundaries. irishbreakdown.com. Coming up at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we will check in with Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek, and we'll have some fun with Brian Tolnar and talk a little bit about golfing in the fall at Mill Creek with the leaves starting to fall, and the course has a bunch of trees. We'll talk a little bit about how the grounds crew is working overtime and then some when those leaves start to fall from those trees, which can turn the 36-hole golf course into a leaf sanctuary. We'll talk about how busy the grounds crew is during the fall when those leaves on those gorgeous trees at Mill Creek start to fall. And then we'll hear from John Vargo. John, his son plays soccer for Cardinal Mooney. And we certainly love talking high school soccer as well as some of the other sports. And, of course, he covers the YSU men's and women's basketball program for the Tribune Chronicle as well as the Vindicator. Now, before the merge, when the Tribune Chronicle bought the Vindicator, John Vargo was working for the Tribune-Chronicle. Since the merger, now you can read John Vargo's work in the Vindicator. And again, one of the benefits of the Tribune-Chronicle buying the Vindicator and adding them onto their family is the fact that some folks who normally would not be reading the Tribune-Chronicle are now looking at the writers who wrote for the Tribune-Chronicle that are now writing for the Vindicator. And John Vargo is one of those guys, and I absolutely love his work. I think he does a fantastic job as the beat reporter for the YSU men's and women's basketball program, and clearly he's great when it comes to high school as well. Just one of the many reasons why the merger between the Vindicator and the Tribune-Chronicle has turned out to be super successful for everyone involved, and they finally got the bugs worked out in terms of getting the paper to folks at a prompt time. I know my parents subscribed to the Vindicator, and they picked up a subscription once the Tribune-Chronicle took them over, and they've been happy. Yeah, and they had some bugs to work out, but by and large, now that things are starting to move in a much, much better fashion, I think that this is turning into a very nice proposition for everyone involved, and obviously the sports coverage has not missed a beat in our newspapers, and again I hearken back to knowing that I can speak from experience. In a previous life, I've lived in a variety of other states. I've lived in Texas, I've lived in California, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in Tennessee, Illinois, Pennsylvania, New York, as well as Ohio. And I say this in all sincerity, and I say this with every fiber of my being. I have been in those 7 states, and I'm a high school sports fan. I just am. Obviously, if you look at me, have graduated from high school many, many, many moons ago, a lifetime ago, actually. But I still love the idea of high school athletics. I love watching high school athletics. I love the purity of the sports, and I just love seeing the kids perform. And I will tell you without any hesitation, you folks that live in the Mahoning Valley, you're spoiled. You are absolutely, positively spoiled. And I will say this in all honesty. Every city and every area that I have lived in, the coverage of high school sports in those areas, not even close, not even remotely close to the coverage that we get here. And the dedication that our TV stations and TV media, print media, radio media, and here at YSN, which we've carved our own niche and pat ourselves on the back, no questions asked. We've stepped our game up to where we have a really nice thing going here, where all of our teams are covered. And you can watch all of our teams. In a normal circumstance, you would be able to watch the teams and there's no charge whatsoever, and you just watch the game and go from there. Now, in a COVID world, knowing that there's 15% of capacity, obviously we wanted to have video, and with video comes cost. It's a lot easier to do games audio-wise than it is video-wise. And with audio, or with video, I should say, it comes cameras and a bunch of different things, and it comes with a cost. And we have certainly fine-tuned the pay-per-view, where $9.99 no longer gets you just one game; it gets you the entire night of broadcasting. So if you happen to invest money in, let's say, Letonia on Friday night when they take on Buckeye Central, you will not only have access to the Letonia Buckeye Central game, you'll have access to every game on Friday night. Every game that we're planning on broadcasting, you will have access to those games, and it's $9.99. And again, if you the team that you choose, 25% of the $9.99, approximately $250, will go to the athletic department of the team of your choice. So that's how we're rolling with that. And again, we've carved our niche here at YSN. We've picked up and not only picked the baton up, but ran away from everyone in terms of what we do. And I come from an industry where at iHearts, in our best heyday, we did games on 570 WKBN, the Sports Animal, which is now 1390 The Gambler, and 1061, which a few years ago when we were doing games was an oldie station. Now it's a country station. 1061, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a country station. But now it's one station. Well, one game. Okay. Back in our heyday, it was 3 games. That's leaving a whole lot of teams out. Hence the reason why YSN was created, so a lot of we'd be able to fill in the blanks with all of the other teams. And I'll be honest, Leetonia grad, we don't get much publicity outside of YSN. There wasn't much publicity. I mean, it's part of the 45 teams in football that the area covers, and Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties. Now, the Tribune has some outlying teams in Portage County. The Vindicator doesn't really cover the teams in southern Columbiana County, the Wellsville, Southern, East Liverpool, Beaver Local. But the Salem News and the Morning Journal pick up that. And again, the coverage here, whether it be print media, with the Journal, the Salem News, the Vindicator, the Tribune Chronicle, outstanding coverage, print media wise. The coverage from our television media, specifically 21, amazing coverage. And our brethren in the radio stations, and obviously we do our thing as well. Again, I say this confidently, and I say this with all sincerity. If you've lived in the Mahoning Valley and you have not gone elsewhere and lived elsewhere, trust me when I tell you, the coverage that you are getting for high school sports, as well as Youngstown State University, it is not. This is not normal in other places around the country. It just isn't. I mean, the closest that I saw was either Jackson, Tennessee, or Springfield, Illinois. And even then, their print and their electronic media, nowhere comparison. Not even close. I mean, when I lived in South Florida, in Vero Beach, which when was it? I want to say 1990 or somewhere in that vicinity. They had a state championship team. They're lost in the shuffle. Their media down there, they don't really spend that much time talking about high school sports. And damn, there's some good football down there in the central, eastern central part of the state with Indian River County down to St. Lucie County, upwards near Cocoa Beach and Melbourne. There's some really good high school sports in that area in the state of Florida, and they don't get any coverage, not nearly as much as we do here. So when I hear people say, well, we're living in this area, and it's okay, the coverage is okay, I just want to look at the people and go, you have no idea how spoiled this area is. You have absolutely no idea how incredible this coverage is. And kudos and applause to my brethren in the media, because there's a lot of things that that we can certainly improve on. But this particular genre, doing the high school sports, we do it better than anyone, plain and simple. And like I said, I've lived in in 7 other states other than Ohio, and I have yet to see any area that I lived in come remotely close to the coverage, whether it be print media, electronic media, or otherwise. I haven't seen any area in which I lived in, and I've lived in a lot of areas. There isn't one area that comes remotely close to the Mahoning Valley in terms of covering their high school sports. And maybe that's one of the reasons why it's just so special. And it's ingrained in a lot of us. And again, I've said so many times, I was born in the 60s, child of the 70s, and maybe our football wasn't in the heyday because, and the older people that listen and have followed high school football will sit back and tell everyone Ted Bell's the greatest football or the greatest running back to ever grace the football field. I don't remember seeing him. A little too young to remember Ted Bell. But that era in the mid-late 60s, when the baby boomer population was pretty much starting high school or in high school, and everything with the steel mills was on point. The area, or at least the city of Youngstown alone, had about 150,000 people in it. The Mahoning Valley, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana counties, well over 250,000 people, if not more. Go into western Pennsylvania in the 5-county area of Trumbull, Mahoning, Columbiana, Lawrence, and Mercer County, and why Beaver County is not included in this is beyond me. You're talking close to 700,000 people. Not a lot of people. There were a lot of people at one point in time. When everything was in its heyday, that's when everything was just, from what I was told by those fans that are older, man, it was unbelievable. Well, as a kid that grew up in the 70s, graduated high school in the early 80s, we were on the tail end of greatness. The tail end where Black Monday occurred when I was 13. And in, I want to say 7th grade when Black Monday occurred. But we really didn't get a, quote, exit of the area until the mid-'80s. Man, it was great to see, a bunch of schools that had enormous enrollment. Let's go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on?
Well, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Well, first of all, I guess I appreciate you calling me old because, I played against Ted Bell. He was a great...
Older. I said, I didn't say old. I said older. I didn't say old. I'm not outing you, man.
Well, since I got you, and I want to sneak in before, because there's so much sports going on. But before we put baseball to bed yet, in between, before we get to the World Series, can we talk a little bit about the Yankees?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
And I want you to look at it from a point of, because I know, I'm not saying you're a Yankee hater, but you ain't a Yankee lover. But so I want you to look at it from a baseball executive point of view. Now, I've been listening to Yankee Nation, and we're split in half right now.
All right.
Some people are saying, listen, we got to blow this up. Both people agree that the window's closing. Some people say we're doing this the wrong way. Other people say, wait a minute, we had injuries. This is what happened. So I'm sitting there thinking, now, we had 5 pitchers, starting pitchers, that had season ending injury. So now, going forward, now, just talk about the pitching right now. I'm going to ask you a question. Now, if we start off next year with Cole as our number 1, Severino as our number 2, and Paxton, everybody forgot about him, our number 3. And I guess we go with Garcia on number 4 and look for a 5th. Some people say that with the hitting that we have, that's good enough, right? And other people saying, listen, you're still talking about the hitting, you need better pitching. What do you think about that, in a 5-game series, those 4 starters?
You have a lot of question marks after Cole. Severino's coming off a Tommy John surgery. I don't even think he's going to be viable to come back in terms of him being as effective as Yankee fans are envisioning. So he's not going to be what you think he's going to be until 2022. So he's on paper he's good enough to be a 2, but in 2021, until he is completely separated from Tommy John surgery, he's nothing more than a back of the rotation guy that you can't depend on because he's not completely healthy from Tommy John. So he's out until 2022 in terms of getting the absolute best out of Severino. And that's assuming that Tommy John surgery was done successfully, and that he went through all of the conditioning and the training, and he's able to respond to it, which 9 times out of 10 they do. I don't see Severino being that guy until 2022, so that's a question mark. Paxton is another guy that's going to be coming off an injury. And again, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to respond to that. So long story short, the Yankees had better get another starting pitcher or 2 in the offseason. And they have the wherewithal to do some deals because they do have a really good farm system. And they do have some guys that are probably not going to crack the starting lineup consistently. Clint Frazier is the biggest person that I would certainly look at. Miguel Andujar is another guy that I would certainly look at in terms of guys that you can dangle in trade talk. And let's be honest, you're not going to trade Giancarlo Stanton. Frankly, no one's going to take that contract because he's an injury waiting to happen. He's wonderful when he plays and then he's locked in, but unfortunately, he's a China doll when it comes to his health. The other position that I really think that the Yankees need to upgrade severely is the catching position. Gary Sanchez is a terrible defensive catcher. There's no 2 ways about this. Now, Sanchez can be a solid DH because he hits the ball like nobody's business, but his defense is so god-awful. And he's one of those guys that is part of the problem why the Yankees pitching staff is god-awful, because he's god-awful as a defensive catcher. So if you go out and get a reasonably good catcher, and here's a guy that I think that if the Yankees were to make a deal with the Indians involving Lindor, you would want to add Roberto Perez, and you'd probably want to add one of those young kids, i.e. Tristan McKenzie, if they were to make a deal with the Indians. That's the 3 guys that I would want to ask for right off the top. Now, it would cost the Yankees a ridiculous amount of their farm system, or Clint Frazier coming back to Cleveland and a couple of parts. But I could see the Yankees making a deal with the Indians this offseason for Lindor, and you simply move Gleyber Torres to second base because, your second baseman. The second baseman from Colorado. Help me out.
Listen to me, okay? He's not even part of the issue.
Who?
Okay.
Who isn't?
DJ is
DJ LeMahieu is a free agent. He's not going to stay in New York.
But listen. Now listen to the blow up. Okay, I heard everything you said. Now listen to the blow up. This is what people say. They're saying, look, Lou Vogt, right? Voigt is the home run leader. You're never going to get as much for him as what you're going to get right now in a trade. You trade him. You move DJ to first base.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent. So there's no guarantee. Emmanuel, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee you sign him.
We're gonna give him what he needs.
Okay.
That's because he's part of the deal. Now you look at it this way. Now Voigt is trade bait. Hicks is being trade bait now. Now you're going to keep Frazier, and either you're going to trade Gardner, right? And Adahar is on the block. You're going to keep Gio at third base. So what if we tell the Indians that we'll give them Voigt, Hicks, and 2 prospects for Lindor, and we put Lindor at shortstop and move Torres over the second. But if they want Torres, we'll give them Torres. We got DJ.
Honestly, I think anyone that sits back and says the Yankees need blown up is out of their mind. They're flat out of their mind.
Please listen. You know how come they saying that? They're saying, now, some people will say, well, that's great for your team to do this. We are getting too many 1-run home runs and every now and then 2-run home runs. We need some players that can get on base for our boppers. This hitting home runs to win a championship ain't worked in a long time.
It's not going to work even if you get 3-run homers, Emmanuel.
Wait a minute. You know, they bring up, look how many home runs Minnesota hit. Look how many home runs the White Sox hit this year. So what we need contact players. And so what we're doing is really not working. So now, and another thing too, they say, okay, then don't blow it up, right? Go ahead and get you a couple of middle relievers with these guys, because we have trade bait and a little extra money coming this year. So now we got to do something. They say, well, get somebody, a middle reliever. And other people say, well, wait a minute, no, Montgomery had a bad year, and Green is okay. But I'm saying I'm not satisfied with that. So what do we do with all these pieces to make us better? It's not like we're a bad team, but we have to be better. We're not good enough to beat the Tampa Bays. We're not good enough to beat the Dodgers. I'm being honest with you.
You're not good enough because you don't have enough pitching.
If we had to play, if we had to play a 7-game series, I think they would sign me or you to pitch. So
exactly.
We understand that.
Exactly. But Emmanuel, here's the problem. You just spent the last 5 minutes talking about ways to improve your offense. The offense ain't the problem. Your pitching is the problem. And it doesn't matter if you're going to have guys on base so we can get our big boppers up. Your big boppers aren't going to do crap in the postseason because pitching dominates hitting in the postseason. If you have a pitching staff that knows how to pitch, good pitching doesn't sometimes beat good hitting, doesn't most of the times beat good hitting. It always beats good hitting. Good pitching always beats good hitting. So it infuriates me, but it also kind of makes me happy because Yankee fans, when they sit back and say, well, we need more hitting, it just puts a smile on my face because I know your team's irrelevant when it comes to going to the World Series because you ain't going to go to the World Series because you don't have enough pitching. It's if Cashman is smart and if the Steinbrenner family is smart, they're going to be able to take some of the extra guys that they have, the Clint Fraziers, the Miguel Anduars, and a couple of other. Hang on a second. You're going to take some of those guys and you're going to deal those guys for pitching. There is nothing wrong with your team offensively. You don't keep Frazier. You don't have a home for him. You don't have a home for him.
Listen. The bottom line is this. Like you mentioned, it's going to be hard pressed for Stanton or Judd not to miss any games. So he can fill in the outfield. We need him.
He's not going to get a lot of at bats because you got Gardner out there, and here's a spoiler alert: Gardner's better than Frazier is. Gardner, if you trade Gardner, that's one of the dumbest things that the Yankees organization could do.
We've done that before, but then again, too, though, David Justice is a free agent. Now he would fit good out there too.
Who?
David Justice.
David Justice is 155 years old. Why would you want him?
I mean, excuse me, not David Justice. Bradley, from Cleveland. He went to Houston.
Oh, Brantley.
Brantley.
Yeah.
But he reminds me of David Justice, the glory days.
Yeah. No, I mean, Michael's going to stay in Houston. I don't see him going anywhere. And again, Hicks, he's the only guy in the outfield that knows how to pick it out there. And your team's already garbage defensively. Other than Gio at third base, it's garbage defensively. I mean, it's just you can't trade away guys that are helping your team if you're looking at other stats. I mean, you have to be solid up the middle, and you're not. You have to have a solid pitching staff. You don't. It has nothing to do with the boppers.
Ronnie, you're getting a little bit carried away because you got to understand this team dusted off Cleveland, and this team was one pitch away from maybe advancing.
That's fine.
Listen,
the reason why you beat Cleveland was because in a best of 3, that's the Yankees' best chances. The longer a series goes, best of 5 or best of 7, they got no shot. They have no shot whatsoever because they don't have any pitching. I mean, at the end of the day, go get yourself some arms and try not to trade away guys that are incredibly important to you defensively. It's
well, they're saying we need to get rid of Chapman, not because what he does on the field. They say he drives a bling bling Cadillac and he's bling bling and he's not a team player and he's just like he's living the New York life. And they say they need Yankee players in the dugout.
Well, the reason why Chapman has given up bombs in 4 of the last 5 postseasons is because he was extended past an inning in all 4 of those situations. I mean, the idea that anyone would put this guy on the mound past an inning is absolutely patently absurd. Because his fastball is straight as a string. You want to maximize this guy's potential, you put him out there for 1 inning. And you tell people, all right, here it is. You're going to try to get this guy for 1 inning and 1 inning only. I'm gonna have set up guys that set myself up for this guy in the 9th inning.
Let me ask you a question. If you don't bring him in, you bring in somebody else, and that person gives up a doggone home run, then you don't see Chapman. You have to use him.
One of the reasons, and again, one of the many reasons why the Yankees go nowhere until they get their pitching better is because their bullpen's garbage as well as their rotation. You have to have guys that are going to be there to set up your dynamite closer. You have to have starting pitchers other than Garrett Cole in order for you to have a chance to win anything in a best of 5 or a best of 7. But hey, I mean, as long as people and other than Eric Boland, who does an amazing job with the Daily News, I got no use for the New York media because all of those people are a bunch of windbags that are all going to yell and scream, well, we need more offense, we need more blah, blah, blah. No, you need more pitching. And if this organization doesn't realize the importance of pitching in the postseason, hey, I'll keep smiling because I know you got no shot at winning a world title unless you got pitching.
I'm going to say this, but it's kind of sad, but it's kind of funny. In about 4 or 5 more months, we're going to be having this same conversation.
Of course we will. Of course we will. 308-860-0813. I'd laugh at Yankee fans. Oh, we're so close. The hell you are. Get out of here. You're not close. You beat the Indians in a best of 3 because in a best of 3, that's the only way the Yankees win a series. Yeah, everyone pretty much knew you had no shot against Tampa. Okay, it went 5 games. Big deal. You lost. And if you had gone in a best of 7, you'd have really been crushed. Get more pitching. That's it. For the Indians, in a best of 3, get pitching that actually works and get more offense. Although, technically for the Indians, they actually scored runs. In the second game against the Yankees, they scored runs. Their pitching went south. It is what it is. Lots of this offseason is going to be interesting, to say the least. I was reading an article about landing spots, potential landing spots for Lindor. Oh, Lord. This offseason is going to be interesting, to say the least. All right, I put a call into to a friend of the show, Aditi Kinkabwala, and we'll see if Aditi from the NFL Network will come on. It's Brown Steelers week, and obviously she's incredibly busy and the finger on the pulse of the AFC North. So hopefully we'll have Aditi Kinkabwala on at some point during the course of this week, and we'll see what happens there. As we mentioned, tomorrow, Brian Driscoll from our Notre Dame Insider will check in. Notre Dame taking on Louisville on Saturday. He'll call in around 12:20. Brian Tolnar from Mill Creek will check in at 1. We'll tell everyone what's going on the PGA Tour. the next stop on the PGA Tour. I know we're getting close to another major with Augusta, and that should be an awful lot of fun. What do we got? The CJ Cup at Shadow Creek this week, and that's going to be, oh Lordy, that's going to be the next step in the PGA Tour. So we'll talk with Brian Tolnar about that, as well as golfing at the 36-hole magnificent course that they have at Mill Creek, whether you're taking the north course or the south course, 18 holes each course. You also have a 9-hole, a very small course, 9-hole course, where you use some short irons and whatnot, and then you have the driving range, and just a fabulous setup. Fabulous setup at Mill Creek. John Vargo will be calling in the show, as always, on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Thursday and Friday, we'll talk some high school football. And again, our schedule, a lot of teams in action, D2, 3, and 7. D2, as we are in the field of 16, Twinsburg makes a trip to Austintown to take on undefeated Austintown Fitch. This is going to be an intriguing game at Mollenkopf Friday night. Maple Heights will be taking on Warren Harding, and Boardman will travel to Painesville to take on Painesville Riverside. D3, Howland takes a trip to Chardon. Hubbard will travel to Geneva. That could be a fun game. Cheney going to go to New Philadelphia. Keep an eye on Cheney. They did a real nice job beating Akron Coventry 21-7. They take a sizable step up in class as they take on New Philadelphia. Should be a fascinating game. Niles is going to go to Streetsboro. Don't be a bit surprised if Niles hangs with Streetsboro and possibly even pulls off the upset. I love the fact that Niles is coming from a much, much better league than the league that Streetsboro is in. So keep an eye on Niles and Streetsboro. That game is going to be Friday night up in Streetsboro. And again, if you've never been to Streetsboro, real simple. Take 224 to Berlin Lake and take it to the square, and then jump on 14. And you'll literally run into Streetsboro High School. It's on the left-hand side. So that's how you get there. For those of us in Columbiana County, just take 14 and follow 14 all the way to Streetsboro. That's our back way of going to Cleveland. Just taking 14 to Streetsboro to 271, 480, and then 77, and then right into downtown. Kenston will be at Canfield. Even though Kenston is 3-2, Kenston has always been a pain in the ass to Canfield. So that ball game could be interesting, to say the least. The JFK normally plays their home games at Mollenkopf. Now they're going to go to Liberty on Friday night because Harding is home. So Kennedy will be hosting Lowellville. That game will be played at Liberty High School. Buckeye Central, who is over by Bucyrus in the west central part of the state, they're going to make a long, long journey across to Leetonia to take on the Bears. That should be a fun game. That should be a fun game. And Leetonia's healthy now, so we'll see what happens. I was told they're reasonably healthy, and the players that were out are to play, and we'll see what happens. Buckeye Central taking on Leetonia. The winner of that game gets the winner of Jackson, Milton, and McDonald. Those two teams playing at McDonald. Jackson Milton was 4-0 when they started the season. In the last 2 weeks, they lost to Mineral Ridge and they lost to Springfield. This is the only team they did not play in the MVAC Scarlet tier. This is the only team they didn't play. So this is kind of a league game, and it's a playoff game. So Jackson Milton will play McDonald in the second round of the OHSAA playoffs. Some playoff game, regular season games. Grand Valley is at Lakeview. Champion is at Camel. Sebring is at Newton Falls. Valley Christian at Wellsville. East Palestine will be at Waterloo. And Matthews will travel to Lisbon. On Saturday night, D4, Girard takes a trip up to Canal Fulton Northwest. Salem is at Poland. That could be a fun game. I know a lot of people think Poland will blow this team out. No. Look, Salem is coming from a very good conference. It's right up there with the Northeast 8. Salem, West Branch, Canton South, Carrollton, those 4 teams have had good, solid years this year. We'll see what Salem does with Poland at Poland on Saturday night. Rematch of a regular season game that was a Donnybrook. East Liverpool will go to Beloit to take on West Branch. That could be an interesting game. Villa Angela St. Joe's will take the trip from Cleveland into Youngstown as they take on Ursuline. D5, Cadiz Harrison Central High School will travel north as they take on South Range. Cardinal Mooney will head to Portage County. They take on Garrettsville Garfield. And a game that is going to be intriguing and a game that I'm looking forward to broadcasting, Southeast will go to Crestview. D7, Western Reserve is at Springfield. Jeromesville Hillsdale will visit Pie Valley. LeBray is at Brookfield. That's a rematch of a regular season game. And Mineral Ridge is hot. They'll go to Norwayne as they take on Creston Norwayne. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. Tony, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. What's going on, Tony?
Hi, Ron. Hey, I heard you talking about soccer earlier. Is
Yeah.
that the sport where they do the scrum in the beginning of the game and stuff?
No, that's rugby. Come on now.
No, I joke. Great for these kids. All these sports are fantastic. Having fun at soccer's expense. It's a great sport. I could never do it. So
The hand-eye coordination, and you don't use hands, so it's more of a foot-eye coordination. And soccer, it's we talk about how easy it is to play basketball. All you need is a ball and a hoop. In soccer, all you need is a ball and a goal, a little netted goal, and you can practice your soccer.
Yeah, and in all the impoverished countries, I mean, you throw a ball out in the middle of a dirt field and the kids play.
There you go.
I'm blessed that God gave me 2 hands, and it's just too hard for me to want to grab the damn thing.
Yeah, that's a sport I just can't get I can't.
God bless the kids who do it.
Yeah.
It is a great sport.
It is. It's a great sport to watch, especially if you're watching a really, really good league. And I think
or
the Premier
Alex Morgan, or if you're watching Alex Morgan.
Yeah, the Premier League is to me that's one of the best leagues, and anything in Europe is outstanding. Soccer in the States, women's soccer is a whole lot better than men's soccer.
Yeah. Hey, but I did. I was looking at the brackets, and there's apparently 2 premier teams in that division that Howland's in, and Poland and Canfield. Canfield's the only team that tied Howland this year, so Canfield must be reasonably good. It was early in the season, but they must be reasonably good, and Poland also. So, but the 2 premier teams apparently in that division are Bay Village, Bay High School, and Howland. And it didn't work out really well for Howland. I don't know if they chose to go this route or not, because the editor was talking about they got to choose their brackets. And as the number 1 seed, I'm surprised they would have chosen Bay early. They played the semifinal game in the regional. There's 4 districts. There's a Northeast. There's a 1, 2, 3, and 4 district, and they go to the regionals, and they play a semifinal and a final in the regionals, and 4 go to state. But they get stuck playing Bay that first game in the regionals, the semifinal game.
Yeah, because they're not even listed in the seeding 1 through 29.
They're in a different.
Yeah.
The 2 teams went to one district and 2 teams went to another district.
Gotcha.
Bay's in the other district.
Yeah.
And the 4 districts come together because they don't play the brackets all the way through in each district. So in each.
Is Bay the 1 seed in the other district?
Bay's the 1 seed. Bay's the number 1 ranked in the state.
Yeah. See, why would they have those 2 teams playing each other? One would think if you're seeded 1 and the other team is seeded 1, you should probably take on the 2 seed, which would be the bottom bracket. And in this
again,
case,
I don't
Bay
know.
would play Chagrin Falls.
Maybe Chapin knew that, but apparently they chose their brackets and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
I guess it really doesn't matter if you want to be a state champ, you're going to have to go through.
No, of course.
Teams eventually anyway, and but that's it. I just thought that was interesting that they were going to get stuck, and it's no different than football. Hoban has played Avon, which may have been the number 1 team in the state, year in and year out in that semifinal state championship game.
Yeah.
So they may have had the tough draw in that situation too. So.
Yep. Well, you brought something up when we sit back and talk about how loaded D2 Region 5 is. Let me. No. I
don't think they're that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me go to D3 Region 9 because according to the AP, 4 of the top 10 teams in D3 Region 9 are in the top 10. Chardon is number 1. Canfield is number 3, Streetsboro is number 4, New Philadelphia is number 10. So 4 of the top 10 teams in the state of Ohio reside in Division 3 Region 9. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. And remember, those are all local teams, so a lot of that voting gets diluted by going to take a Chardon and Streetsboro. A lot of this is writers who are voting on this, right?
Sure, yeah.
So a lot of all the first place votes out of that area went to Chardon, where Streetsboro, I think, is maybe they're in the top 5. They may be, what are they? Right?
Yeah, they're number 4.
Yeah, they're in the top 5. So, their votes may have got diluted because they're playing, in the same media market as Chardon is, and Chardon's may have been diluted because they get compared to Canfield. Good thing for Canfield. Let's think back. Canfield, maybe the last time they were in the play. Were they in the playoffs last year?
Yes.
Okay. 2 years ago it was when they had a really nice team and they had a chance to make a run. They ended up playing Kenston. Kenston beat them in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've had troubles with Kenston in the past.
At Hardy. It wouldn't have been the first round.
It would have been in the second round. Yeah, it was the second round, if I'm not mistaken.
So they get a chance to get even with that team, and I think I think Kenston's really down this year. I think Canfield is a better team, and I think they have a chance to really hang it on Kenston to, maybe a little bit of revenge, because those kids were sophomores the last time this happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Division 3 Region 9. We mentioned 4 of the top 10 teams. How about this one? 3 of the top 4 teams in the state are in that region. Now go to Division 5 Region 17.
Well, don't forget, now there's one in that region that is way down there. They had a first-round bye because of the respect, but they play a brutal schedule. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary's is in there too, right?
they are in there as well. And then I was looking at Division 5 Region 17, and again, going by the AP poll, Kirtland's number 1, South Range is number 3, Garrettsville Garfield is number 6. There's your 3 teams in Division 5 Region 17. Half of the top 6 teams in the state, according to the Associated Press, are in the same region.
Yeah, well, consider, though, that Garfield's got their hands full this week.
They get a horrible draw.
That team that's not rated in the top 10 is going to be a matchup for them. I would guess. I don't know.
That's a horrible draw, and the team that I think is on par with those 3 teams isn't even rated, and that's Crestview.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
I really don't get to follow them that closely. I would follow Garrettsville closer than it's just funny the way we live. You're at that end of the area, and I'm at the other corner of the area. So.
Sure, absolutely.
So what'd you decide on for the game tonight? You betting on all the games?
No, I only do numbers. And I've been cold the last couple of weeks, and I started out in the mid 60 percentile. I'm now down to just under 60%, but I still haven't figured this one out.
54.5%, you're a winner, right?
It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50, 53, 53.5, somewhere in that vicinity.
So you're winning money.
Yeah. I mean, well, fictionally, I'm winning money because let's be honest here. I don't bet because I work in the media. We don't get paid all that much, so. It is what it is. But I haven't figured this one out yet. I mean, it's I mean, Milano's not going to be playing. One would think the Bills' defense won't play that well. Tennessee has a really good football team offensively. I could see a high-scoring affair.
Now you brought up Milano before we move on to something else. Let me throw this out. My opinion on Milano is this: his greatest asset, though he tackles fine and he fills holes fine, fills gaps fine. He's a great cover linebacker, and I think that's what hurt him when they put a Klein in, or this young kid, this Terrell, whatever his name is, in to cover for him. But so I don't think they have on the COVID list at least 3 of their receivers, so they may be really hurting to put together a pass offense today. So I don't know if Milano's absence this week is going to hurt him much as normal.
Well,
I think Klein can fill the holes and fill the gaps as well as not as well, but pretty admirably. Klein can't cover worth a
no, and unfortunately, Tennessee will use their tight end to take advantage of that.
Oh, that's true. So, but then again, if you're having trouble with your receivers, you may be able to bring in safety help on that situation.
Well, and Lord knows if Micah Hyde is
two great safeties.
Yeah, they do. It's whether it's Poyer or Hyde, they got it covered. So there's the back defensive backfield is solid. There's no two ways about that. And when Milano's
does 54 over and under surprise you in this game?
Yeah, it's actually up to 56 now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's and actually let me look and because these are updated.
Buffalo's just going to
wow,
Tony,
they knocked it down to 52. It was 56 before I went on the air. They've knocked this thing all the way down to 52. So that's kind of now I'm looking at this going, all right, well that makes a little bit more sense. And Buffalo's still a 3.5-point favorite in this game.
Well, you figure if you're coaching, if you're what's his name, and you're coach of Vrabel, and you're coaching the Titans, you're saying, and he's done it the first 4 games. They slow the game down, hand it to Derrick Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
And they play. And so on their end, you don't expect them to put up a lot. You take some of the time away from Josh Allen in the offense, running the score up. So still 52 seems kind of high to me.
Yeah,
the Titans haven't practiced in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's hit and miss with the practices and whatnot. I think it could be a high scoring game. I think it could be a high scoring game. No, I know what you're saying. But I mean again, Buffalo will get their points because they're getting 30 plus points a game, and they're going to score. And Tennessee's defense, it's not elite, so I think Buffalo will score their points. It's the over-under, I still think that you can go over 52 and win, but my whole thing is, all right, which one's the better chance? Does Tennessee go within a field goal of this team and you take the 3.5 thinking that it's a field goal game? Or does Buffalo win this game big and you just go Buffalo and think they're going to win by at least a touchdown, so go that direction? I have no idea what I'm doing yet.
Dable and this team, they really draw in the reins when they have a lead, and I don't think they ever try and run the score up on anybody.
Well, I mean, they didn't last week though. I mean, they let Josh Allen loose last week, and they were throwing the ball when normally they would have ran the ball. So I'm thinking Dable's now getting a whole lot more comfortable knowing that Allen has become, at least through the first 4 games, a really, really good quarterback. So maybe they'll let him loose.
Can I call a bank shot on this game tonight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dawson Knox. If you don't follow Buffalo, you have no idea. The kid's a dropping machine. Njoku gets a rap for it, but
yeah, they're both pretty awful.
But Dawson Knox will come off the chain tonight. He's from that area. He's from Nashville.
Yeah.
He played in Ole Miss. He played at Ole Miss with DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown. They must have had a heck of a receiving core down there.
Yeah, you kind of wonder.
A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Knox, all pros, played that all together that year.
Yeah, you kind of wonder why Mississippi didn't make any noise in the Southeastern Conference with that much talent. Good God.
Who was their quarterback down there? Who played at Ole Miss? Was Prescott?
Dak was Mississippi State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was Mississippi State. So it's A lot of talent. There's no doubt, no two ways about that. But no, I expect Buffalo to win.
DK Metcalf, how does he get to the end of the second round?
There were a lot of people that did not like some of the stuff he did behind the scenes, and I said, screw that. Listen, he could be a horrible human being. I know talent when I see it, and that kid was ridiculously talented.
But they're not talking about it being. They're talking about him being a perfect football player out there. And
now that and it's interesting how much inaccurate stuff can be said. I mean, look, go back, Tony. Go back to Dan Marino. Marino was dropped until late in the first round because people thought he was using marijuana, and that wasn't the case. I mean, I don't even know where they got this stupid idea that he was a guy that was smoking dope all the time. Please.
Yeah, and nobody seems to have a problem taking a chance on Josh Allen, do they?
Nowadays.
Not Josh Allen, Josh Gordon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, talent will take you places that, if you're a third stringer or someone that doesn't have a lot of talent and you get your hand slapped, you're going to get thrown out of the league or people aren't going to be interested.
How's that for a visual? Josh Gordon and DK Metcalf lining up next to each other. They're both freaks of nature.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Gordon couldn't kick his habits.
They're still trying to get him reinstated.
No, of course, but now it's the talent's only going to go so far. I mean, he's getting up in age, and but in his day, if he had just been able to stay off the weed, my God, what a talent! Now, unfortunately, he did what. And help me out. There was a kid that played in Cleveland, had a 1,000-yard one season, 1,000-yard season. Everyone thought he was the next coming. It was a Michigan kid, and that was it for him. That was all he had, and everyone was clamoring for. Well, how come he can't do this? I mean, Josh Gordon to me is the. And this is on the internet, so I can say this. Josh Gordon reminds me of the woman you hooked up with one night, had the best sex of your life, and she's gone, and you want her back, but she's a pain in the ass. Other than she has great sex, and then you're thinking with the wrong part of your body.
As opposed to like you and I are probably not great sex, and we're still pains in the ass, right?
Well, there you go. And when the older you get, sometimes this stuff don't work. That's all I got to say.
Okay, we'll get back to whatever the heck you were doing before I called to annoy you. But Dawson Knox, watch him tonight. He's a fun kid to watch. He's like the kid out in San Francisco.
He's infuriating when he drops passes, but he is fun to watch because when he hangs on to the ball, he's a real fun guy to watch.
Drop passes. I'm not going to let you get away right now real quick. One real quick point. Last week, Josh Allen, I think, had 10 incomplete passes.
Yeah.
8 of them were justified. 4 drops.
And 4 throw the ball away on third down.
Throwing the ball away intentionally.
Yeah. No, it was interesting to see, and as I have told people, when people were wondering what is Josh Allen, what kind of potential does he have, and I said he's a green John Elway. That line is now he is starting to become ripe. Now he's not completely ripe, but he's starting to become ripe, and he's starting to look more and more like Elway.
Next time we debate Josh Allen in his first 2 years, we're also going to have to discuss the receivers he had his first year and got a little bit better his second year, and the line he had his first year.
I get it.
Progressively gotten better.
Yeah, I get all of that, but he also threw the ball in places that were nowhere near catchable. So it's just
some stupid stuff, but no problem. He was a kid, but
we'll
enjoy it now, right?
Hey, listen, it's just 4 games in. This is not a certainty. I just like the ride that they're on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man.
They're ready for a loss. They're not going undefeated this year.
Well, obviously, and I would hope they win tonight. If they lose, naturally, the Monday game against Kansas City is probably the landing spot for a loss. Though I'd love to see them beat Kansas City and lose tonight if they're going to lose again.
Beatable the last 2 weeks, though.
Well, absolutely, and that game, the victory that Buffalo had against the Raiders, even more impressive now that the Raiders beat Kansas City in Arrowhead. But that's neither here nor there.
And the victory they had over Miami, you're not going to. You're still not going to say
Miami's
that
a 6-win team at best. They're not that talented. They just caught lightning in a bottle and beat a San Francisco team that's insanely overrated.
Well, insanely hurt, too. So.
No, that's true. Absolutely. All right, Tony.
See you later.
Appreciate it. 330-886-0813. Back in a bit. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
Trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come. So call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. We're getting set to close up shop. Power Hour is coming up next. And again, they will run down the large, and I do mean large, volleyball and soccer tournaments as they have combined districts. And again, 4 districts all go to the 4 regions. And because they're combining the 2 districts, 2 of the 4 districts are combined. So the top 2 teams in each of those districts will go on to regional play. Where I think the OHSAA may have screwed up on this is in particular the draw that they have in the regionals for Division II boys soccer. The Bay Village Bay High School is the number 1 seed in their district. Howland is the number 1 seed in the districts closer to us. Those 2 teams are playing each other in a first round regional event. Why would you have 2 number 1 seeds play each other? Why wouldn't the number 1 seed play the bottom bracket, which would be the number 2 seed in the other district, and have it that way? It's to have 2 number 1 seeds play each other in what is a regional semifinal. That's absurd. That's you've defeated the process of trying to put the 2 best teams into the regional championship game, which should be the job of doing a tournament. That's what you should be doing. You should be having, the 2 districts, now that you've combined 2 districts into 1, so 4 districts into 2, the last thing you want to do is have each number 1 seed in both districts play each other in a regional semifinal. That's absurd. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And there's a lot of dumb things that have been done through the years in tournament play. Don't get me started. Whether it be basketball or any other sport, there's been a lot of stupid things that have been done. But this one's right up on top of the list. If you're Howland, and okay, I understand. You got to get through your own district first. And you got to assume that Bay Village Bay or Bayside Bay or Zach Morris Bayside High is going to get into their side of the district. But why would you play that team in the regional semis? Especially when you have the 2 districts put together. You just have the 1 seed play the bottom portion, the 2 seed or whoever comes out of that district, and each 1 seed in the 1 district plays the 2 seed or whoever comes out of the other district, and do a crossover thing, and then you hopefully have the 2 1 seeds play each other in a regional championship game. I'm not even employed by the OHSAA, and I know better. Just saying. All right, that'll do it for a Tuesday edition of Running Points. Power Hour is coming up next. We will talk tomorrow, noon to 3. Anthony Hardwig will be here as well. We'll have some fun. Noon to 3, Running Points on ysnlive.com. Make it a great